So this is the final output report from the zero bank reconciliation process. I've put together this quick short video to walk through the screens which leads up to the update of this reconciliation. Now, these screens can be a little confusing, particularly to newbies, not only to accounting but to Xero. And so they're not particularly, at first blush, not particularly intuitive. So this is just a video to try to clarify the workflow in a sense. So when you start, this is the top right of the first screen. The link at the top reconciliation report leads to the report just shown. The four tabs below, the first two are action tabs, which update the report, the reconciliation report. The second two tabs are, for reference, the bank statements themselves and the account transactions themselves. They are the two sets of details which are to be reconciled, and the reconciliation screen is the complicated one, the cash coding screen is the simple one. This is the cash coding screen. It's useful for multiple bulk processing of transactions in maybe simplified businesses where many of the transactions are small and frequent. And it's a simple process of entry. This is taking the entries on the bank statement which have not been recorded in Xero in any way and processing them into Xero. You select the ones on the left-hand side you want to input, put the details, description, GST, amount, quantity, what have you, on the right, and copy down. Makes it very quick on the right. And then, although it's not shown on this screen, you have a button, a reconcile button, which down below, which processes these transactions into Xero if everything is correct. This is the maybe, although it's shown second on the primary screen, this may be done first simply because it's quicker in some cases. This is the reconciliation tab on the left. You can see in the middle there on the left, reconcile tab next to the cash coding. This shows the bank statement outstanding items on the left-hand side and the possible options to deal with that item on the right. So we've got $100 on a line, which needs to be either matched with something in Xero or entered into Xero as a new transaction. This is the one screen this screen deals with things on a one-by-one basis, not a bulk basis. So going through the tabs, just briefly, 5 of them, 5 new action tabs: match, create, and find and match. These are action tabs which get the transaction into the system or match them off. The transfer and discuss items are pretty self-explanatory. In the middle, we have a save button and an OK button. The OK button applies to the green area where Xero has identified a transaction within Xero set of transactions, which may be the appropriate one to match off. And if you accept it by pressing OK, this reconciling item will vanish from the outstanding list. The save button is self-explanatory for discuss points. Anything you put in there is saved. On other lines, there may be no button, and in those cases, the thing to do is go to create or find and match. Create enables you to just straight input, like the cash coding screen, input a transaction from the bank statement into Xero on a line-by-line basis with additional information if necessary. And the find and match opens up a more complicated, a second level screen, which enables you to search Xero for transactions which may be relevant to the $100, say in this case. And this is the screen which you get if you press find and match or additional information on create. Up the top in section 1, you've got search of the Xero transactions. You select anything that might be useful. So for instance, regarding that 100, if there was a $50 in there, you might select that. Then in section 2, you can add an additional transaction to top up the amount to 100, say, and thereby reconcile the total 100 and click sign it off. Now, on the third section, there is a small area for minor adjustments and bank fees. But the principle is that the total of the items that you put in to sections 1, 2, and 3 equal the outstanding item on the bank statement line, for instance, the 100. So you've got this method whereby you can select something in zero, put something else into zero, and a little bit of an adjustment, and thereby reconcile the whole thing. Now, if you, in section 2 there, if you press the new transaction, what happens is this: you get an option to record the new transaction as a spend money or transfer money. This is for a spend amount in the bank statement, so it's money going out. If it was money coming in, that would say receive money or transfer money as options there. But here we've got the option to select spend or transfer money, and to set the one you pick there, if it's spend, creates this screen here, and you've got another choice. The spend can either be a direct payment or a prepayment or an overpayment. Now, this gets a bit complicated here because although the direct payment, prepayment, overpayment is identified on the face of this report once you've selected it, prepayment does not mean that it ends up in the balance sheet automatically. That's an issue to be pursued offline. But for this stage, you can select, say, a prepayment, and it will identify on this new transaction in section 2 as a prepayment. Having done that, having made your selection, say direct payment in this case, we now have section 1 grayed out, section 3 grayed out. So you simply enter the details for this new transaction which you want to put into to reconcile, say, the $100. It is straightforward to fill this in: description, quantity, unit price, account, tax rate, and so on. This completes the entries in section 2. Then you press Save Transaction and return to this screen. This screen shows a new transaction for $11.90. Note there is nothing in section 1, $11.90 as a new transaction in section 2, and nothing in the adjustments section 3. If you press the Reconcile button down the bottom, these items will be totaled and matched against the $11.90 on the bank statement. Then zero will match all the transactions off, and the item will disappear from the reconciliation screen, and the reconciliation report will be updated.